Chapter 10, Snake Pit. Dante struts over to the seat as you stare at him, speechless with rage. He plops down at the table, propping up his feet and flashing you a smarmy grin. What the hell is this? All the board members look to you before exchanging glances, scandalized.
Cameron, this is a board.
I don't care. What is he doing here? Who let you in, Dante? I'm a board member, in case you hadn't realized. I can't believe. You think you can pull this off. You can't just waltz back in here and expect everything to go back to normal. I'm pretty sure I can, because I just did. I won't rest until you're out of this company. And what exactly do you think you're going to do about it? I have more power than you could ever aspire to.
That's enough. I think you're both forgetting exactly who is in charge here. Everyone out. You're all excused except for you two.
There's a loud shuffling as the board members gather their things and leave the room. Before they even are out of earshot, your father turns on you.
I think it's about time you've learned your place and deflated that enormous head.
But Dad...
Quiet. You've been getting ridiculously bold, and I'm here to remind you that you're not the CEO. I am.
Let me just say this. He raises an eyebrow at you, daring you to continue. If you're really going to welcome him back on the board with open arms, there's no way you could have ever loved my mother. Your father's eyes go wide in shock and sadness. He opens his mouth and shuts it, blinking rapidly, trying to clear the jolts to his system. He also killed her. I swear to God, this is like chatting with one of those programs. After 24 hours, they forget what you were chatting about unless you remind them. Oh, please. You honestly think he still cares about...
Shut your mouth, son.
Dante gapes, and you can tell just by the gormless face that this has never happened to him before. But Dad,
Shut it, I said.
Dante lapses into a sulky silence. Your father turns to you, his voice dropping to something soft and quiet.
That's not true, Cameron. I loved your mother very much. But I also love my eldest son, and at this moment the only one of those people can be helped. Now, let's put all this nonsense to bed. I will not be stripping Dante of his board seat or any other of his privileges. Is that understood?
You pull out your phone, waving it in his face. That's fine. Guess I'll just have to make a call to the detective handling my mother's case. Make sure he knows that Dante was involved. What the hell? She can't do that, Dad. Can she do that? Let's just see how the world feels about the Vitalia hair turning out to be a cold-blooded murder. You turn to Dante, putting on a satirical, pitying expression. What do you think will be worse, the magazine covers or the jail time? Dad! But to your astonishment, your father just smiles serenely back at you, silent and unmoved.
I think it's about time you understood the way things are. The governor called. He wanted to commend me on sneaking the file out right under his security nose. He never would have thought such a pathetic group could outsmart his guards. I almost asked him what he was out talking about. Then I remembered the sudden mountain of evidence you had against Dante, and it all made sense. It didn't take a genius to figure out that mousy assistant was acting on orders from you.
He's not mousy.
I've squashed the matter with him, for now, but if you insist on exposing Dante, I might feel inclined to call the governor back and let him know that I wasn't the mastermind behind that little stunt. You see, the governor and I have a rapport, something you never have earned or understood. One built on decades of respect and hard-wrought connections. Because of that, a move like this from me could be overlooked.
He levels you with a cuttingly belittling glare.
But from you, on the other hand...
You meet his eyes unflinchingly, refusing to look away.
It could be a deep affront to the governor's position, because you have nothing more than to do, much hubris and a chip on your shoulder. But of course, if you think those things will help you when you and your thieving little assistant are staring down trespassing charges and treason, you're more than welcome to test out your theory.
Dante shoots you a smug look. You swallow hard, but say nothing. His threat is clear. You're painfully stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you're helpless as your father moves to the door and yells out,
"The rest of you get back in here, we're finished. Let's get this damn meeting started."
They all hurry back into the room, settling around the table with much shuffling and muttering, all while you stare into nothing, too despondent to speak. You sit in your office, trying and failing to focus on work. The events of the morning have left you steaming, and the words on the page keep blurring. I've had enough of this. You reach for the intercom and press a button to page George. Hey, cancel my meetings. Get Trey in here for a strategy meeting ASAP. There's no answer. George, are you there? After several attempts, you march out to his desk, only to find it empty. You turn to the other employees, typing away dutifully. Where can I find George? To your surprise, they're pointing in the direction of your father's empty office, or what you thought was your father's empty office, because it's not empty any longer. As you approach, you see George helping your father ease into his office desk chair. What's happening? George looks up helplessly.
"What does it look like, Cameron?"
He grunts as he settles himself in, not bothering to answer you till he's finished.
"Someone needs to get a handle on things here. No more running amok like headless chickens. I'll be overseeing day-to-day operations."
What? This is ridiculous. You should be at home in bed. This will be bad for your health. The doctors have it very clear about needing amount of rest, and if you don't get that rest...
Yes. I heard what the stuffed white chutz had to say. Don't need you telling me again.
So, you'd put yourself on the line like this for nothing?
I'm not putting anything on the line. I'm not going to let anyone, least of you all, tell me what's best for me. George, take every meeting on Cameron's calendar, shift it to mine. Don't need her on these anymore.
Oh, so now you're sidelining me. After all the work I've done. You open your mouth to let out a stream of protest, but your father cuts you off.
You're dismissed.
You storm back to your office, George, hot on your heels. I'm so sorry, Cameron. He just hobbled in after your board meeting, ready to take his office back, and I couldn't exactly tell him no. Why not? He tells me no all the time. No, he won't give me his last name. No, he won't acknowledge any of my hard work or vitality. No. Wait, you literally just took his last name, ma'am. What? His decrepit ass just waltzes around, doing as he pleases. And the one time I have him on by short and curlies. Your anger nearly boils over, but you force yourself to take a breath, stopping short of blaming George. After all, your fury isn't directed at him. But you did have him. What happened? He gave me an ultimatum. If I expose Dante, he tells the governor it was me behind the break-in at the ball. The governor called him. My dad put two and two together. George's face falls. This is my fault. If I hadn't gotten caught, you'd have him in the palm of your hand. But I did. Now you don't. He's clearly doing his best to make your life at Vitality miserable. I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. It's more my fault than yours. I was the one who insisted you do something so potentially dangerous. But I was the one who screwed it all up. Yeah, well, we both know that some things so sensitive, anyone's chances of screwing up would skyrocket. I shouldn't have put you in this situation if I couldn't handle you getting caught. He gives you a grateful smile. Alright, well, if you say so, but at the very least, what can I do to make it right? I'm ready for anything. Honestly, all I want is for you to get Trey. He'll help puzzle out a solution. You turn back to your desk, busying yourself with paperwork, expecting to hear him shuffle out. Instead, he takes a deep breath, and when he speaks again, there's a steady confidence to his voice that floors you. If you need help planning strategy, you don't need Trey. I'm the one who messed up and lost you your position, and I'm more than capable of helping you get it back, so what do you need? You look back at him warmly, mollified by him taking your advice and being confident in what he wants. Not bad, George. Alright, here's the deal. I need to muzzle my father. As long as he has a semblance of control, I don't stand a chance. George falls silent, thinking, then suddenly his eyes widen with realization. You don't have to get your father out of the way. I don't, but then how?
He spins you around, pointing at the company org chart and Elizabeth's picture in the interim CEO spot. You don't have to get your father out of the way because he isn't the CEO. Your father transferred his power to Elizabeth, and per the bylaws, as an interim CEO, all big decisions are hers to make. At least until her power is seceded or executive order from the board is made restoring him, neither of which have happened yet. So all you have to do is get Elizabeth to name you the next CEO in the board action, and you can cut Theodore out of the process entirely.
George, that's...
I think it's absurd because Elizabeth isn't going to side with you.
My dad is in the office, sitting in the CEO chair.
But he hasn't officially reclaimed the title. According to his own bylaws, it'll be perfectly legal.
Just because something makes sense on paper doesn't mean it'll work out perfectly in real life. But then again, when have any of my realistic plans actually worked out?
Yeah, so to hell with it. Let's give it a shot. You give George a proud smile, but as you consider his proposal, the smile fades from your face, only to be replaced by a scowl.
One problem.
Yeah?
Elizabeth ordered my mother's murder. I'd rot in hell before I work with her for anything.
George shrugs. Well, the alternative is taking your chances with your father. After today, I'd say the odds of him treating you favorably are drastically low. The burning humiliation and being one-upped courses through you again.
Fine, good point. Look into where we can find her.
But when George tracks her down, she's in the last place you'd expect.
You've got to be kidding. She's living in a cheap motel?
Yep, I even got a room number.
She's been well and truly humbled, huh?
I guess we're about to find out. I'll wait here. This doesn't seem like it should be a group conversation. Making your way to Elizabeth's room is easier than you expected. You take a breath and raise your knuckles to knock on the door, knocking sharply, and it opens almost at once.
Sabrina, Oh, it's you. What do you want now? You ruined me thoroughly enough? Actually, I've come to make a deal. Oh, a deal! Us! Don't worry. I don't like it either. I honestly can't believe I'm even considering working with the monster who had my mother murdered. Of course you can. Always the martyr, aren't you? So why are you doing it? How's she a martyr? You literally killed her mother. That isn't even remotely close. You're an idiot. Jesus. You think I'd be here if there was any other way? There isn't for either of us. We'll see about that.
She gives you a once-over, glaring with her nose in the air. Finally, after an endless moment, she sighs and moves aside, letting you in. The room is grungy, messy, dilapidated. All of Elizabeth's ridiculous shoes, clothes, bags stuffed into a space no bigger than your closet. The walls are peeling, spotted with the same water stains as the ceiling. Listen, she killed your mother. I don't care. I don't know why you're trying to garner sympathy. This is nice. Spare me. What's the plan? More importantly, what do you got? What are we working with, assuming I agree? You are currently in the interim CEO of Vitality. You named me CEO, Theodore Vital. I can't do a thing to stop it. And as for my resources, for one, I've got press eating out of the palm of my hand. Most members of the board will back me, and our manager as well. They might not like me, but it's not their friendship I want after all. Lastly, I've made various contacts across the board in valuably high places, willing to help me rise in any way they can, whether those methods are fair or not. Elizabeth's eyes widen, impressed despite herself. I'm surprised you've got that much firepower. I clearly underestimated you, Cameron. But that much favor will make it easy to get the job done. I won't even need to use my power or use my contacts. But there is one condition. I'd be shocked if there wasn't. What is it? You secure me an irrevocable stipend from Vitality. Done. How do we put me on the top? If you're taking the company by force, you'll need to consolidate your allies within it. Have them back you. We'll need to hold a vote. Good.
Call on them to hold a vote that will transfer my power to you. That should work, but of course, if we're going to force Theodore out, everything will have to be on by the book. She rises, heading to a doorway you see leads to a small adjoining room. Give me a minute. I'm going to get my copy of the company bylaws. If I can find it, it's impossible to root out anything in this hellhole. She shuffles out of sight, and you hear her rummaging through what sounds like piles of junk. You glance around this room, two mishmash of her belongings, private affairs, just lying around. It would be so easy, possibly smart, to snoop around and get some ammo of my own, just in case she screws me over.
I'll snoop.
You rise from the chair as quietly as you can, starting to pick through the pile of stuff nearest to you. You haven't made it far before Elizabeth calls out from the other room. I won't lie, I was surprised to see you. Last person I thought would be digging up my grave. She lets out a hollow laugh, and you hasten to reply, careful not to seem idle and innocent. Well, I'm surprised you want to be dug up. I mean, I know you need the money, but I figured we were all dead to you. She gives an impatient huff that you hear even through the door. You open your mouth to ask her a question, but something distracts you. Beneath a couple of fashion magazines, you find a stack of romance novels, hurriedly swept away. You raise an eyebrow at the covers. Hulking men, grasping, swooning damsels. All with titles like Pirate's Plaything and A Cowboy Romance. So Pixelberry's latest works. Who would have thought that icy Elizabeth would be so easy to melt? But then your smile fades as it occurs to you that perhaps it isn't so odd after all. Perhaps it's just a woman who's never known love, dreaming about what it might have been. You shake your head, placing them back on the ground and trying to keep up the conversation. Do you still care about vitality? Of course I do. Why do you think I'm doing this? So, you think it's easy to be... Right, you think I'd make the best CEO for the company? I didn't say that. You'll be what you've been, which is insufferable. Oh, thanks, Ma. But you'll make the company money I need, so of course I care. Beneath the chatter, your efforts have proved less than fruitful. You push aside our last kiss, frustrated. There has to be something here. If things go south, I can't reveal the hit on my mom, because implicating Dante means my dad sells me out. But it stands to reason that no normal person would order their children to kill a woman, and so to pretend to be loving mother. I bet anything that Elizabeth has secrets, dark secrets. Enough of such droll subjects. Let's discuss something else. We could discuss what you're going to do with the money once you have it. First thing I'm going to do is hire a housekeeper to organize my next house. You have no idea how difficult it is to fit everything into these tiny drawers. I mean, where are my handbags supposed to go? Up your ass. What? Tiny drawers, huh? Clearly Elizabeth isn't stupid. She wouldn't leave things out in the open. You glance across from you. A closet stands in the left corner of the room and a suitcase on the right. They're surrounded by piles of clothes, moving boxes, more stacks of useless newspapers and magazines. I'll check the closet. As Elizabeth prattles on about how hard it is to find good help these days, you make your way carefully over to the closet. The doors don't creak when you open them, thankfully. And there, front and center, you find a cluttered row of wigs. You're so stunned you almost laugh out loud. Bologna, braids, blow dry. She's got every option, but that's not what's striking you. I've never seen her wear a single one of these. She must wear these just for fun when she's alone, unless she's got a double life. You step out, close the doors quietly, wincing as it squeaks. Then your eyes widen as you spot a cardboard box you hadn't noticed nestled in the corner. What was that? Nothing. I was just trying to open the blinds. The lighting's a bit dim in here. You search around frantically for a topic that will distract her. Tell me, aren't you worried Dante might take this as betrayal, you working with the family bastard? It's hard to know what he wants when he hasn't even bothered to check up on me. I've just been dumped here. Now I know how it feels. You feel a fleeting stab of pity and then take the opportunity to dive down and rifle through the box. I feel no pity for the woman who killed my mother, just throwing that out there. I think you'll live. Rude as always. I know you blame me for your childhood, and let's admit it, you must hate Theo more than you hate me, or we wouldn't be here. Hate him more than you? Of course I do. I mean, you're hardly an angel, but I can comfortably hate you both, but you're not my last living parent. I was supposed to be his responsibility, and yet he's always been the first one to make me feel worthless. What kind of father is he? I know, he's always been wretched, hasn't he? Well, look at us now, working together to bring him down. Yes, things are going to change. He'll never have the chance to humiliate me again. With a deep breath, you return your focus to the present, and to the box. A tube of facial hair remover cream, a couple of useless scratch cards, and at the bottom, a Jamaican passport. Yeah, man, well that's curious. What does she have this for? The passport is long expired. The woman in the photo looks like Elizabeth, young, pretty, but the passport was issued to a woman named Marva Brown. You flip out your phone, quick search of the one name pulls up an cold case. The date is long before you were born. What the? At last! Found it! You hurriedly stuff the passport back where it was and rush to your chair. You've just managed to sit back down when Elizabeth marches in, the bylaws in her hand and a sly gleam in her eyes. You got some fresh dirt on Elizabeth. It all checks out. So at the next board meeting, you will officially be the new CEO of Vitality. Wouldn't hold your breath. You head over to Trey's hotel. The sun is beginning to sink into the sky as you arrive and head up to the penthouse. Trey, you in there? You knock sharply on the door, but when there's no response, your impatience gets the better of you, and your knocks increase in volume and frequency. By the time the door swings open, you're pounding on it so hard that you're surprised it isn't broken. Evening, Cameron. Thank you for dropping by, and so respectfully, what can I do for you? Between Trey's attire and hair that looks tousled from a lot more than sleep, you feel a wave of rage rise inside of you. Without waiting for permission, you storm past him, swinging open a closet doors and flipping over pillows in search for his errant bed partners, but you come up empty-handed. My, someone's having a day, huh? I figured you had someone over. He gives you a smug grin. And why exactly would that matter to you? Because I don't want anyone else to overhear what I have to say. Why do you think I've come, bringing big news? And you think I have spies lurking around my hotel room? Look, only I and one other person in the world currently know about this, and I've come to add you to that roster, but I don't have the numbers to include some random stranger you met at a club last night.
Alright, fair enough. It's just us, I promise. You can relax.
You smile, mollified. Alright, here's the brief. I'm getting my dad into the picture.
And how exactly are you doing that?
George figured it out. He's not the CEO right now, Elizabeth is, so I've cut a deal with her. She gets me the top spot, I secure her stipend, so she can spend the rest of her life not in a motel. Don't worry, I took precautions, snooped around a bit while I could. You ever heard of a woman named Marva Brown? I didn't have much time to dig, but all I saw was a mention of an old cold case. You pull up the name on your phone again and show him the screen. Trey squints at it for a few moments before moving over to his laptop, typing some words into a search bar.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too. But the report is classified. When's it from?
35 years ago. Trey types in the year and name Marva Brown. Suddenly the screen is bursting with newspaper articles.
Woman suspected in husband's murder flees country.
Well, that seems like fun. Oh my god.
She used her family connections and money to get out of Jamaica and take a new name, or so law enforcement theorizes.
Brilliant. She crossed any lines, and I have ironclad blackmail material.
I hate to rain on your hot, vicious little parade, but I'm not so sure about all this. If Elizabeth has the resources to get away with murder twice, she may not be someone you want to rely on.
I know, but what are my other options? Hope and pray that my father chooses me over the son who murdered the love of his life. I'd rather take my little fate into my own hands. At least that way. If I fail, it's on me. I'm sick of being betrayed by people who are supposed to be my family, my greatest, most loving support. What a joke.
So you'd rather screw yourself over? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Then there's no one to blame but myself. It's less painful that way.
He gives you an oddly tender look, like sympathy that he's fighting not to let show. But that's just it. You talk about taking fate in your own hands, but that's not what you're doing. You're putting it into Elizabeth. Do you really think you can trust her?
As opposed to who? You? This affronted look just makes it worse. All the hurt you've felt for weeks comes flooding through the broken dam of your defenses. You've been taking secret calls, hanging up when I come around, disappearing when I need you most, without so much as a trace. You step up close, poking him in the chest, and even as the small contact, your self-righteous anger wavers, memory of your hands on him pouring through you, all the things you once shared. And somehow, now here you stand accusing him of being untrustworthy. You shake it off, fighting to remain present. I'm starting to think you're either up to something or seeing someone. A beat of silence lingers in the air, and then Trey steps forward to close the gap between you.
I have been up to something. My business, Nile, is becoming publicly traded, and it needs a lot of attention right now.
He swipes his thumb tenderly across your cheek, and as he leans in, his words ghost over your lips and send a shiver down your spine.
So you might have to share me.
I don't like to share. He drops his head to yours with a smile, pressing a soft but heated kiss to your lips.
Well, I promise to make it worth your while.
The air is thick with delicious kind of tension coiling around you, making it hard to think.
Pretty much we know where this is gonna go.
But we'll see how far it goes. Just keep that in mind. In a burst of longing, you pull him towards you, capturing him in a passionate kiss. As though this is all he's been waiting for, he grips you to him, hands running down your body like little candle flames igniting you.
You know, I'm insulted you even have to ask. You know me better than anyone, or have you forgotten?
Slowly, his hands massage the small of your back, the spot that used to set you into a frenzy, but teasingly you push him back against him, keeping him just close enough to burn. You tell me, are you forgettable? He grips your waist, walking you backward until his legs hit the settee, but he drops onto it and pulls you into his lap. You wrap your legs around his waist, your body is pressed so close you know he can feel every one of your curves. Touched a nerve, have I? He tilts his head, his breath warm against your neck, and bites your earlobe teasingly. Moan escapes your throat, you can feel Trey smile against your skin.
There we go. That always used to make you melt.
Yeah, well, don't get cocky. It's been a decade, and I'm nothing if not modern. You might find my tastes have evolved.
If so, well, I will look forward to discovering each evolution.
You'd better just try and keep up. Besides, you toss him a cheeky grin. You're not the only one with an arsenal. You run your nails over the back of his neck, drawing them over his sensitive nape, and his breath quickens. For example, that always used to make you melt. His eyes slide shut, jaw clenched as though trying to hold himself together, but in the moments he loses control. He pulls you towards him, kissing you roughly, the heat between you escalating as your hips needily collide over and over again. Suddenly pulls away.
Bet now.
You gasp as he sweeps you in his arms, a whole lot stronger than the Trey you remember from the first time around. Hey, you can't... You gasp in indignation, opening your mouth to protest. After all, you were a lot younger and more flexible than 10 years ago. But before you can say a word about how he can't throw you around, he climbs over you, his chest a delicious weight against yours, and then you decide he sure as hell can. As your hips grind together, you feel the threads of everything that held you back start to unravel. Trey.
Yes, Cameron.
Breathless, you pull his lips to yours and gasp out the word. More. Please let me... He has no clothes. He's literally in his underwear. Take my clothes off?
Well, if you insist.
You back away ever so slightly to peel off your jacket as he maintains his signature cheeky grin. But as you hike your shirt up and pull it over your head, his grin fades, replaced by a great gaze of burning desire. Like what you see? He nods, unable to look away, as you give him a flirtatious, slow show. Quit panting like that, puppy eyes. Not to be outdone, he strips off his remaining clothes, but as you lean in towards him, he stops you with a finger to your lips.
I think you're forgetting something.
Slowly unbuckle your pants and lower them over your legs, torturing with a very unmissable inch of you. He pulls you to him, kissing every inch of your exposed skin, and then he pauses, fingers brushing over a freckle on your collarbone.
Huh, it's a new one.
Why? Want to play connect the dots? He laughs and presses his lips to it, but as he lowers his head, you notice a bare stretch on his back, a stretch that wasn't always bare. Speaking of new, where did your tattoo go? You run your fingers over the tender skin, empty of the snake it once had inked onto it. It's almost a jolt to see him without it, like you've lost a piece of him you're determined to somehow get back.
What can I say? Respectable business owners avoid such wild fashion choices.
Is that so? Well, you're not fooling me. I remember Wild Trey.
Shh, you'll have to keep him a secret.
I'm good at keeping secrets for a price. You part your legs wide, inviting him to dip his head even further down below. Ruh-roh!
We sure as hell did.
You saw in tandem, sated, happy, glowing with the warmth of your contentment. The moment is so perfect, you feel suspended in time, until the weight of reality returns, bringing with it a realization, and you turn to him. You never answered my question. You stare deep into his eyes, refusing to look away. Can I trust you? He holds your gaze unflinching and crosses his heart.
Always.
But something in your gut squirms unpleasantly. You can't help but feel like he's leaving something out. And whatever it is could be the biggest wrench in your plans yet. I'm assuming that's it. That's what I thought. Alright, without further ado, thanks for watching. Please remember that if you did enjoy, to like, share, and subscribe. Love your beautiful faces. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I always love reading your comments. Hey, if you got nothing to say about the game, let me know about your day. How was it? So sorry about being late on this. Pretty much I've been sick, right? And then I also take care of my brothers and other people along the way. So pretty much they've all been sicker than me. Pretty much once I even started, I was getting sick, was around the time two of them was already sicker. So I started, taking a bunch of things because I can't, let's be honest, can't get really sick. Have to prevent that. So you gotta start, as soon as you even get the smallest inclination or something you suspect, you just automatically just gotta start taking things. And pretty much because I did, I was able to avoid the brunt of it, knock on wood. But, long story short is I'm still fighting it off. I'm still fighting off. Mind's a little hazy, foggy, migraines. I'm trying to pretty much keep it from going in the good old lungs, right? Because that's where, a lot of times things go really, really bad when you're, dealing with things in your lungs. So, especially for me. Aside from that, again, let me know your day. If you don't like commenting about the video, at least let me know that. Otherwise, stay safe, stay well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace out.